Hey, congratulations for making it through the 2 weeks of the challenge. I know that this is a very long challenge. I do believe that this is very intentional on the Most High's part from the standpoint of putting me in a position to literally disciple you through the practice of learning the law day by day by day, looking at the law, considering the principles of the Proverbs, this precious and powerful book of law that is the primary tool for men and women who are of the chosen generation, the royal priesthood spoken of in First Peter 2 and 9. This book is the primary um, tool kit where you turn to in finding answers in the world of relationship law. I'll say that again. This book is the primary place where you turn to for answers when determining questions that arise in conflict in relationships. And so I congratulate you for your diligence through this 2 week period of time. I congratulate you for staying the course. And I'm happy to share my life with you. This is how I live. I literally, in the scriptures, looking at the law in this manner every day of my life since this has become my practice. And are there days where I'm a little wonky because of stuff that's happening in my feelings, because of circumstances around me? Absolutely. And I press forward towards the higher calling each and every day, even when I have to shake myself into concentration or pour myself a cup of coffee to get it together. And I'm so delighted to have this experience with you, this virtual discipleship in biblical law. I take this assignment very, very seriously, so seriously that I'm even overcoming my own resistance and hesitance to be in social media like this, because you will find that I have not been on social media like this. So thank you for staying the course and congratulations for your discipline. A lot of times we use the terms disciple when we're talking about Yahusha and his relationship with the 12, and seeing that they lived together, they walked together, they broke bread together, they ate together. But the key word in the term discipleship is discipline. And what has been absent in the faith community, in the church community, in Christianity, has been this place where someone sits and preaches at you, or someone sits and tells you what the scripture is saying, but does not walk you through the process of how they learn and how, even more importantly, how they practice. Being a legal professional, I can tell you that the process of interning, the process of in the ancient world, they were called apprenticeships. Discipling is a spiritual apprenticeship. It is the process of doing life every day with the person that you're learning from. And so this is as much as a discipling process for me, sharing, learning the law and teaching the law and showing up like this. It's as much as a discipleship process for me to pattern my behavior and the way that I teach the same way Yahusha taught and lived every day with the disciples. So I just want to take this moment to express my gratitude for you, to express my delight in your staying the course, because this intentionality and discipline is not It's not for people who just want the easy road. It's the narrow way that few people find. It's the way that makes you want to quit. It's the way that you like it's got to be an easier way than this. My mother used to say all the time that one of the things she noticed about people who could not stand me. My mom was always on the lookout for people who just they knew of me, but they couldn't stand me. She would say that the reason why people could not stand me was because I show up and I make what's hard look like it's easy. And for me, it's not that I'm trying to make it look easy. It's just that I have a mindset that I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I'd rather invest my time figuring it out than waste my time crying about the painful process. And so I understand after doing these past 13 verses that part of the assignment is helping you to get an understanding of the painful process, that this is how I get down. This is how I live. This is how I practice. This is how intentional I am when I am navigating the sacred spaces of other people's lives, their properties, the death of family, the birth of babies. This is my work. And social media will have you think that I came out of nowhere and I didn't cry I didn't cry and struggle and bleed to develop the understanding and to practice the care, the love, and the thoughtfulness that I practice in people's lives. Social media is set up that it'll have you think that all you have to do is just start a page and you got it. And no. And so I'm answering a discipleship call for the kingdom. I'm being one of those people whose life is an open book because that's my assignment. I don't have any secrets and I don't have anything to hide, and I certainly don't get it easy. In fact, I would say that the road that I walk is super hard compared to the path that others have. And I pay a very, very high price. So when someone comes alongside me to do this type of work, to experience the journey that I take and the journey that our Messiah took, it means a lot to me. And that's why I'm taking this moment to express appreciation to you for making it to day 14, 2 whole weeks. And we have a little more, well, we're almost halfway. We're almost halfway there for this challenge. And I am humbled and I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to put my life and my practice and my process on full display. So Proverbs 16:14 reads, the wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. Here's the principle of law. The judge's wrath is horrible, but a wise man understands that and will appeal for mercy. Understanding this principle comes from understanding the nature of judgment. There are two sides of judgment. Most people say, don't judge me, because there is an assumption in popular culture due to lack of teaching that judgment is only one sided, that judgment is always a bad thing, that judgment is always punishment. But this is absolutely untrue. In fact, A close examination of the scripture reveals that the Most High, as king, more often judges on the side of mercy and not wrath. So, the best example of this is Noah and the times that Noah was living in. For centuries, the Most High, he sat and he observed the wickedness and the perversion of men due to all type of craziness that I'm not going to get into in um this post. But suffice it to say, wickedness was going on for a really, 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 really long time. And the passage of time is evidence of the Most High's mercy. But the time came that men persisted in perversion, in corruption, in tinkering with the laws of creation to the point where the Most High, he dropped the gavel and he said, "It is time for my wrath. It is time for my wrath because I have been merciful long enough." And so the flood of Noah's time was a judgment of wrath after a prolonged period of mercy. When you carefully observe the Most High as king and as judge, you will see he is more merciful than he is wrathful. He prefers to extend mercy as his judgment rather than to become angry, which is destructive. This is when he allows destruction to be released upon the earth to literally wipe out lives, because this is the balance of judgment for evil. So, understanding that the king and his nature, over human history, we see fewer periods of wrath, but most days of mercy. What we are anticipating in terms of the last days, right? Those days that we talk about in Revelation, we're looking for a period of wrath that will come. The scripture says that the cup of iniquity will be filled, meaning the tipping point where he will no longer be merciful and he will unleash wrath. This is the understanding of the nature of the highest judge of all creation, more merciful than wrathful. So when you know that you are living in dark times, when you know that mankind is persisting on a course of trying to undo nature, of trying to mix the genes of fruit and vegetables, of taking the seed out of fruit, these things are perversions of creation. When these things persist, a time has to come, according to the biblical precedent, where the Most High must judge it with wrath. So when you know that wrath is coming, based on the passage of time, based on the history of mankind, then the wise will realize that this is the time to position yourself to appeal for mercy by admitting you're wrong, by turning from evil, by becoming a person who loves truth and hates lies, by being a person who does good and not evil, by being a person who does not hold on to unforgiveness and bitterness, but releases people with the same type of mercy that has been demonstrated by our own King. By becoming the person like Yahusha, who hung on the cross and literally prayed for his accusers and those who were cheering on his death. Father, have mercy on them because they don't know what they're doing. This is how you position yourself to be like the children of Israel who had the blood applied over the doorpost, that when the destroyer came upon the earth, the destroyer is the messenger of death spoken of in Proverbs 16:14. When the messenger of death comes, then it shall pass over those who have place the token of mercy over the doorpost of their minds. I didn't expect to preach on this one, but we are living in times where the destroyer is set to be released upon the earth. And Proverbs 16:14 is a cry from wisdom warning you that if you want the destroyer to pass over you, if you want your life to be spared from the destruction that is set for a perverse and wicked generation, then you must apply the token of mercy. You must admit your wickedness. You must turn from lawlessness. You must seek the justice of mercy by throwing yourself on the mercy of the court of the one who sent the flood. Now is the time. Now is the time. If you have not noticed that this earth is prepared for judgment, if you have not seen the deaths that are escalating, if you have chosen to put your head in the sand and not see the same forces of wrath being unleashed upon the earth, I pray that your eyes will be open and that you will appeal to the mercy of the king and throw yourself on the mercy of the court. This is not a scare tactic. This is an understanding of law. Wickedness must be judged. The blood of the unborn must be judged. The lack of injustice worldwide must be judged. And when the destroyer comes, as it did upon Egypt in those days, the pattern of judgment that you will read in the scriptures. People, if you love Psalm 91, Psalm 91 is a picture of judgment. You will have people dying on the left side of you. You will have people dying on the right side of you. But what? But it shall not come nigh you. Why? Because you have found mercy in the sight of the king. This is the principle of Proverbs 16:14. I pray that this empowers you with an understanding that emboldens you to open your mouth and to declare the truth of the law of the King of all kings in your community. Be blessed and encouraged, and I look forward to seeing you for day 15.